Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Hey everybody, it's time for the Dr. Leadership Show. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome to the show. Hope you're having a great week. It's gotten hot again. Woo! 100 degrees earlier this week in Des Moines, 95 today when I'm recording it. So it's a little heaty again. It was beautiful the last week. So if you're east of the Midwest, here it comes. If you're west of us, it looks like the cool down is starting. So I'm looking forward to that and excited about that. Hope you enjoyed last week's episode on You Have More in the Tank. Great episode to listen to if you're feeling a little burnout, a little lackadaisical, etc. Talks about the 40% rule used by the U.S. Navy SEALs. A couple of great stories tie in the Olympics. Worth the listen. Shared it a couple times, got some good feedback, and actually had a birthday party for my 94-year-old mother at the house last night and was talking about it with some of the family. My mom, as I said, had been a little sick. She didn't even make the party, but us Taylors, we're going to still have the party. We called her and sang happy birthday to her and then went over and saw her. Her birthday's actually today, Sunday, the 25th of August. Born in 1929. Think about what she's seen. Talk about a leader. She's been stoic. She's the matriarch. So blessed to have her in my life. And my wife and I just got back from a little visit there. So happy birthday, Mom. I hope that you're thinking about going out and joining the website or thinking about joining, the membership site. Go out to the website, www.drleadershipresults.com. Click on subscribe. Join. Check it out. Early access to interviews on the Leadership Lounge, early access to all of these wonderful episodes, and some interaction things happen out there too. So give it a listen, give it a take, give it a chance. It's $5, man. Invest in yourself. So today we're episode 96, man. We're clawing up towards 100, and I'll figure out something special on 100. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but we'll figure something out. And episode 96. I'm going back, so I was reading an article in Inc. magazine, and it just quick hits. It's a great periodical if you're looking for something with quick articles, inspirational things, and great feedback. And I'm a big Warren Buffett fan. I've talked about it before. I've given little tidbits. Also, Charlie Munger, his partner, I talked about the magic number from Charlie. I actually had some neighbors tell me they shared that with their college kids. I'm getting some street cred in my cul-de-sac. Look out. Things are going well. But this one is 12 good decisions from the Oracle of Omaha. And what it's talking about is he looks at his success. He's 93, 94, 95 years old, whatever. He's now very similar to my mother's age. And he can really attribute his life journey and how well things have gone on 12 decisions. We're going to cover the first 6 today because it takes a little bit more than 30 minutes to go through 12 great ideas. And then we're going to hit it part 2 next week. So tune in. You can't miss it. You don't want to miss the big ending, the big kaboom. You got to check out both episodes. But this first episode we're going to go into, like I said, started from an Inc. article written by Bill Murphy Jr. And I felt it was worth the share. So many of Warren Buffett's concepts resonate with me, and a lot of the recent topics that we've had on the show the last several weeks kind of tie in with this. There's a lot of commonality in what my shtick is. It's all about trying hard, being the most you can be, being a good person, having some spirituality, taking care of yourself, loving others, being what good looks like whenever you can. I've made lots of mistakes. I've got lots of mistakes still to be made, right? But if you can learn from some of these experiences, I think it's a good thing to do. I try to listen and learn from others. Sometimes it's learn how not to do something, and sometimes it's how to learn, or it's learning how to do something. You ought to be able to determine it by looking at it. So Warren goes into this article, And he's known for two things. Let's just start with the basics. Making money and then giving some pretty damn good advice. So now, if he is giving advice on how to make money, I really listen, right? It's in his sweet spot, so to speak. To start with a couple of $1,000s and to be worth $200 billion in a 60-year career, that's a pretty good run rate, everybody. And he loves work every single day. Drinks Coca-Colas, eats a couple McDonald's meals, has somebody drive him in a 10-year-old car back to the house he's been in since the 50s or 60s. Humble man, smart man, and wealth isn't everything, but it sure allows you to get those things that wealth doesn't bring you. So in this article, Warren says when he looks back, this is what resonated to me. He can really boil his life successes down to about a dozen good decisions. Now, I'm sure there's been thousands of great decisions by Warren when you look at the financial portfolio, and he's had some duds too. The best miss. James Maddox, the pitcher, Greg Maddox, great pitcher, lost games. Nolan Ryan lost games. Michael Jordan missed 9,000 shots, right? The greatest of anything have mistakes and learning experiences and heartaches and hardships. But in the grand scheme of things, Warren boils this down to a dozen items. He has been at this for 60 years, remember. So it's one good decision, if there's 12 of them, that he's saying, about every 5 years in a 60-year career. So don't expect that you're going to just roll along with great decisions every day, right? I mean, I look at Friday and go, missed on half of them. But I had half of them were pretty good decisions, I think. So I'm batting 500. That gets you in the hall in baseball. So every 5 years, he's making a good one. Not a lot to ask of ourselves. So by sharing these, the doctor, me, is getting you started on all of them much quicker, and you can be ahead of the Oracle of Omaha. Instead of waiting 60 years to know about these decisions, he's handing the map to us. He's handing the mile markers that we got to achieve to get to the successful point we want to be in. And again, this isn't about necessarily money, financial success. This is just about how to go through life. And I've said 50 times on this show, if I've said it once, life is hard at best. So why not try to remove some of the hard? That's what I'm trying to share with you here. So these decisions aren't hard. They're not that hard anyway. They just require commitment to your own outcome goals. And you have to be able to stay vigilant. You got to be able to stay on course. So it's one thing to make a decision. It's another thing to keep after it. So let's go through these things. We're going to talk, like I said, about the first 6 today, and then we'll jump in next week to the next 6 and provide some commentary, some feedback, and some things like that. So he starts off with a great one. Number 1, the decision to nurture curiosity. This one was started early, and we all should think of pushing this on our own kids and grandkids early. I've always been curious. Warren says he started this curiosity. He says at the age of 10, he got a book from the Omaha Public Library. Yes, you used to have to go get on your bike, ride down the street, right around the corner, get to a library, use the Dewey Decimal System, figure out where these books are going to be had. There was a bestseller shelf, but other than that, man, you walked in 20,000 books. You got to be studious and curious to just find what you're looking for. But he found a book called 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. Now, you got to remember, this is in the, it would have been the late 30s, early 40s. So $1,000 doesn't go as far as it used to. So maybe it's 1,000 ways to make $10,000 today. See, Warren was curious about finance from the very, very beginning and how to secure his own future, his own fortune. No one else is going to do this for us. I think that's something important. Unless you're a trust fund baby, you're going to have to figure out how to make this on your own. And the sooner you start with some of these ideas and the basic concepts that we talk about all the time, they all transition to your personal life, to your business life, to your interrelationships, but it takes tenacity, it takes diligence, it takes conviction, it takes determination. And if you don't have it, that's got to be the first decision, is you're going to gain it. You can't procrastinate on finances. We've discussed this. I wrote a dozen times. It's friggin' 40 dozen times. What Warren is showing here is to chase information. As he says, be curious. He had his dad take him on a tour of the New York Stock Exchange when he was a teenager. They were in New York. He asked his dad. His dad took him up to the New York Stock Exchange. Much different than today. It was a trading floor with thousands of people buying and selling stocks with pencils and pieces of paper. Today, it's all computerized, right? You can get your Scottrade or your E-Trade or whatever, your Motley Fool account set up and have at it and day trade. Back in the day, though, he took him there to see what actually the action was all about. Today, we're trying to talk our kids into not doing the latest TikTok challenge. No, Jimmy, don't eat the Tide Pod. Why don't we push at our kids to find something worthwhile to be curious about? Why don't you spend some time with your grandkids and show them something that will serve them for a lifetime besides don't eat the Tide Pod, Susie? Find that worthwhile thing. I would also highly recommend curiosity in today's political and news environments. Take what you are being told or what you see with a grain of salt and look into it. I promise it'll be enlightening. I'm going to give you a mention here in a little bit on one of Warren's other decisions on a great podcast to listen to that Tucker Carlson, like him or dislike him, you need to listen to these guests. It'll be very enlightening. Today's political environment, you can't believe what you're being told, man. It's a propagandist network that is driving this stuff at you. So you got to be curious to find the truth. That's the first one. Not a hard one. Be curious. Number 2, the Oracle says, make a decision to get started. We've talked about this one, folks. Makes me feel good when I was reading this. I'm like, you know what? I've covered that a little bit. See, this one's critical. You can be as curious as a cat, but if you don't plan and, more importantly, execute things in your life, your success will be muted at best. You can have the greatest plan your work, then work your plan is an old sales statement. Plan your work and work your plan. A poor plan well executed is better than no plan at all. Execution is the key. There's an old saying, too. What's more important, strategy or execution? I will tell you this. You can have the greatest strategy in the world. If you don't execute, it doesn't matter if you had the cure to cancer written on the chalkboard. If you don't go into the lab and make the pill to take to fix it, if you don't execute, it doesn't matter how good the strategy was. Or you can go into the lab, not have any strategy, and as long as you're executing on trial and error and challenging existing science, you're going to progress things in some manner. So execution eats strategy for lunch. Plan your work, then work your plan. Be a person of action. How many times have I said this? Lots of people are raring to go, but not many can go for raring. You have to be willing and ready and to go for raring. One foot in front of the other. Get out of your chair, step up, make something happen. Get out of your funk, step up, make something happen. Make a decision to propel yourself forward. There's no pity parties in the performance channel of life. You don't get to sit and feel sorry for yourself. I'm sorry that you're having whatever bad is happening to you. We all face it, but you have to get up. You have to move forward. Otherwise, call the ball, turn it in, lights out, shut it down, whatever you want to say here. Execute. Get up and do something about your situation. Number 3, I like too. If you want to do well in life, this next one, critical decision, man. Decide to find and engage with mentors and role models. No one does life alone, folks. Us mere mortals need someone to show us the way. Lessons are learned the hard way sometimes if you aren't using mentors. Like, I'll give you a big example I always think of. I never had talked to a mentor or anybody about, don't take mom's big steel scissors and shove those in the light socket in her bedroom. I think that's where my hair got wavy. Bam! Spock splat. I was on my ass. It was like, what the hell? I was like 4. I didn't need to be shown that one again, right? It was taught here to me in a painful manner. Mentors and role models and surrounding yourself with successful people is far less painful. So the faster or sooner you make the decision to surround yourself with a good environment, to get the lackadaisical, the lazy, the woe is me, the victim attitudes away from you, the sooner you will be victorious. Promise you. Promise you. This is a huge one in life. The key to this decision then goes back to the execution one, right? Then use what in the hell you were taught. And not thinking it doesn't pertain to you. There's so many things, and this goes back to like raising kids. You look at your kids and you say, this is why you aren't going to do this. And they go, and then they go out and they're more concerned about being seen in a positive light by their peers instead of their parents. They do what you say don't do. They get in trouble. They have a negative repercussion. Something happens. They don't get what they want or whatever. And then they come to you like, well, why did this happen to me? We talked about this, Jimmy. We talked about this, Susie. So you have to take what people share with you and turn it into habits. Turn it into your approach to things. Turn it into steps forward. Turn it into positive momentum. Otherwise, don't even take on mentors. If you aren't willing to take feedback, don't ask for it. Feedback is a gift. We just have to choose to accept that gift. Sometimes it's hard. It might be embarrassing. You might feel it shows weakness. You might feel that people think less of you. Trust me, coaches love players that take coaching. They don't want lone wolves. They don't want people that are bigger in their head than they actually are. They don't want LeBron Jameses. They want people that are team players, that are willing to take on coaching, that don't think they got it all figured out. I'm just not a big LeBron fan, but that's okay. I'm a Michael Jordan era, Magic Johnson. There's dozens of players that I think are the epitome of what great is on the court and off the court compared to LeBum James. The next one, number 4 that Warren shared here, I wrote, love this one, the decision to be bold. Now, this one really resonates with me because I got a new acronym I spieled out at work here a couple weeks ago, and I call it the ABCs. We're taking the market through ABCs. That acronym stands for aggressive, brave, and courageous. The ABCs. Bold could have just as easily been brave, right? That could be my B. Aggressive, brave, and courageous. See, my market right now is going through big changes. Some competitors are slipping away. Other competitors are moving around on kind of the lineup of who's best in the world. My company, all of my teams have been very, very fortunate. They have led our organization to number 1 in global market share in what I lead and what I'm a part of the team on, and U.S. market share. That didn't happen without being aggressive, brave, bold, and courageous. Now's the time for us to take it to the next gear. Put our foot on the proverbial throat of the competition. We've got them on their heels. Now it's time to hit them again, put them on their tailpipe. So in life, you got to kind of go for it. If you've got a dream, as long as it's with integrity, doesn't hurt anybody, I don't want you to boldly go and purse snatch. But I do want you to boldly go after your dreams, utilizing mentorship, utilizing curiosity, utilizing these other things we've already talked about, and go for it. I want you to go for it. I want you to chase it. I want you to grab it. I want you to embrace it. I want you to drive it. I want you to learn it. I want you to use it. But damn it, be bold. In this world, you have to be bold. Fortune favors the bold. Statement been around a long time. Not obnoxious, not egotistical, not narcissistic, but engage. Boldly go and boldly execute towards your next step, towards your dreams. Man, if you aren't going to get after it, why do it? I just don't understand people that half-ass anything. Be a great parent. Boldly parent. Boldly be a neighbor. Boldly be helpful. Boldly be caring. Boldly be leading. Boldly be an individual contributor. Boldly be a follower. Boldly be curious. Boldly execute. Damn it, be bold. The other decision that I think is critical, and this one ties in, I said I was going to talk about a Tucker Carlson podcast here. The next one is be healthy. I'm trying to make steps in this later in life. Tell you what, I'm going to be 57 in January. It feels a lot different than 47. It feels a lot different than 54. I stopped drinking a couple years ago. To each their own on that. Inflammation, kidney, liver issues, those types of things can be avoided if you don't drink. If you can socially have one cocktail and move on down the road and then move to water, God bless you. They say one glass of wine, one cocktail, one beer is good for your heart, etc. My problem is I'm 250 pounds, so it's 5 bourbons. And I just determined that my addictive my bold personality and my aggressive pursuit of execution didn't tie real well with drinking, so I stopped. 2 years ago, coming up next week. Wow, 2 years. But being healthy is important. I've tried to lose some weight, trying to eat a little bit better. Fell off the wagon on that the last couple of weeks. There's been some peanut M&Ms in the pantry that have been disappearing by the handful. Self-control. This, again, I don't have this all figured out. I am not really good at healthy eating. I have got to concentrate on it. I need mentors. It's when I turn to my wife. Now, some of her eating habits aren't exactly super healthy either, but she works out and what makes her feel good. She concentrates on, do I have enough proteins? Am I getting my vitamins? I look and go, was that handful full enough of peanut M&Ms? Should I go back into the pantry? I did limit myself to one very small piece of cake and half a scoop of ice cream for Grandma's birthday yesterday. We called her and sang happy birthday, and then we ate her cake without her. We're terrible children. But grandkids were here. It was great. So be healthy. This is one we all need to pay attention to. Our world around us, especially in the U.S., in the United States, is built to make us unhealthy, so as to drive our industrial food and health complex forevermore. It's a sad state. And what I want to recommend to you is I want you to listen to Tucker Carlson's August 16th podcast on health. He had Callie and Casey Means, M-E-A-N-S, join. And my wife and I have been listening to it this morning as we drove down to see Mom and back, and just going, holy Shiite, man. This is scary. The basic net of it is we don't cure things in this country any longer. We exacerbate the need to take more and more pills. How have we gone to all these chronic illnesses? Oh, it's genetic. Obesity is genetic in certain demographics. Well, how come their grandparents weren't fat if it's genetic? That's an interesting concept. How come mom and dad are fit, but the kids are fat? It's genetic? Or is it this crap we're shoving in their mouths? We get one shot at treating our body and mind right. Today determines tomorrow. Fresh foods, not plastic wrapped stuff. Anything wrapped in plastic, anything that comes in plastic is not really good for you. Make choices here. Organics, important. Alcohol, smoking, and a lack of exercise, along with these heavy processed diets, lead to literally all the metabolic and chronic illnesses today. Your body is one big system. You put crap in the gut, crap shows up in the blood, crap shows up in your brain, crap shows up in your muscles, crap shows up in your organs. You are what you eat. Remember that? Do we really want to eat thousands of pounds of chemicals? See, our U.S. government subsidizes farms, but they subsidize farms on the processed foods. They don't subsidize the organic markets where the fresh veggies are coming just right out of Mother Earth. We need to get back to eating pure foods, not processed. 70% is processed. They're talking about putting Lunchables, listen to the podcast, as an agreed upon healthy lunch for students. Hey, they're prepackaged, they're easy. Yeah, so we're going to get plastic nanoparticles more in our bodies, and everything inside the Lunchable is processed. Heavy, heavy chemical engagement. You wonder why autism and why Down syndrome, well, Down syndrome's chromosomal, but autism and ADHD and all these anxiety meds are getting handed out like Tic Tacs. Maybe it's because what we're putting in ourselves. I don't know. Just something to think about, but listen to that. August 16th, Tucker Carlson podcast. Promise you, well worth the listen. All these chronic diseases, man, get healthy. Number 6, the last one we're covering today, decide to nurture relationships. This one's big too. Buffett, Warren, he nurtured one big relationship, and that was with Charlie Unger. Charlie just passed away a little while ago, a few months ago, 6 months ago maybe now. Time flies, maybe a year. I think it's only 6 months. And I did an episode right after that. Charlie used to have this, what's your magic number? He used to talk about whatever you do, cut everything out of your expenses as much as possible to get to your first $100,000. Now today that might be a $250,000 number. And for somebody that's 24 just getting out of school, making $55,000 a year, $50,000 a year, that probably seems insurmountable. But for every 100 you put away today, it's worth $1,500, $1,700 40 years from now. Put 500 away, you got $10,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. So the sooner you get that $100,000, $150,000 put away, the sooner it starts to explode for you. Just like Berkshire Hathaway did when that nurtured relationship between Warren Buffett and Charlie Unger started. This is all about how to carry yourself and how to engage society. This is about your mental health. This is about the strength of the village. This is about how we rear our kids. This is about building our culture back to something that's healthy and sustainable. You know, kids spend an average 7 hours a day on a screen. Children today spend less time outside than our prisoners. They're sitting in dark rooms, caged up on a phone. Take an animal, take a bunny, put it in a cage in the dark with a TV running in the background. You're going to open up that screen in 3 weeks, and that bunny's going to look like it came from the depths of hell. Get your kids outside. Have them be friendly with your neighbors. Be friendly. Build alliances. Be helpful. Give more than you get. Lead conversations by asking about others, and don't worry about your own comparison to yourself. If someone tells a great story about a vacation, nurture that relationship. How'd you find out about it? Don't go, well, I've been there too. Or, have you ever been here? Don't try to get better than the Joneses. Be interested in the Joneses. Don't worry about this damn comparison to yourself to others. Be humble. Be authentic. Be loving and caring. And most importantly, remove toxic people from your life. If the relationships aren't nurturing, aren't healthy, aren't going to grow you to the next level, aren't going to teach you something, aren't going to empower you in some way, aren't going to propel you forward towards attaining your goals, get them off your docket. Get them out of your life. Put up those guardrails. Because there's a lot of people out there that want to see you fail. It makes them feel better about their lackadaisical life. Makes them feel better about not attaining their goals. See, if you surround yourself with loser mindset people, you're going to be a loser mindset person. Surround yourself with mentors. Surround yourself with people that execute. Surround yourself that are healthy. Surround yourself with people that are curious. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to be awesome. Then you can keep that shit up. Talk next week.